All right, welcome. The Ultimate Hockey Show, your favorite weekly ritual, back after taking a week off. I was under the weather. Rescue had technical difficulties. The second day we were trying to do it. Happy to report today, but I for one, am on the mend. Two Rescue technical difficulties have been fixed.
Have been solved. Yep.
They've been solved, and we are set to roll with the Ultimate Hockey Show. And suddenly, I'll be honest, this is my first time talking sports, anything related since Saturday night's baseball game. So this will be very therapeutic for some. I have actually avoided all sports podcasts since Saturday. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's the kind of day it's been. We're here to talk hockey. It's been 7 games since we last spoke to you, which was, I believe, coincided with the game in Calgary right after our last show.
Yep.
The Winnipeg Jets have played very well. They picked up some injuries. They've gotten reinforcements back. Tonight they play a game in LA where Captain Adam Lowry is going to make his return. Dustin Nyquist still day to day. And newest latest injury is Morgan Barron, week to week, after getting tied up in the third period and injured.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some clips on the Barron where people thought the injury happened. But it is such as the Winnipeg Jets will not have any lineup decisions to really make other than take Adam Lowry off of IR, put Morgan Barron on IR, and quite as simple as that. And all of the lineup consternation.
Yes. Hey, did they say? Wait, did they say what it was for Morgan Barron? Upper body or lower body?
No, just week to week.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're talking about his injury, so I thought maybe you were gonna.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm Michael Dell. That's Rhett Petty. Good evening, Rhett. I know that was a long intro.
Good evening.
What has stuck out to you about the Winnipeg Jets the last 2 weeks?
No. Yeah, we haven't talked. Actually, we were just chatting off air, and we have not talked hockey or talked about the Jets since October the 20th, which was a few hours before they were to play in Calgary. And so since our last show, the Jets have gone 5-2. So
pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. They had a couple of losses in there. They didn't look very good against Seattle, but Seattle's a very good team. Seattle plays this defensive style. Maybe we'll talk about. Let's go back. Like the Calgary game. Well, that was a grinder. Calgary hadn't won in 5 or 6 games, whatever it was, and they just played defensive. It was just grind.
Mid body in nature, according to Rob.
I think I saw the play. I was at the game. He got hit up against the boards right in front of right beside the penalty boxes. I think that's where it was because he came off. He went, oh, he was like this, and he was skating back to the bench, and he was kind of holding not separated shoulder, but maybe sprained shoulder or a sprained collar or maybe a chest thing because it was just the way he got hit. It was kind of awkward and whatever. But anyway, the Jets played well in Calgary, had to grind it out, hung on until the end, and got a nice goal, Scheifele and Connor with a few minutes left. Well, then you come to Seattle. Seattle played a grinder. They just played defense. I don't know if you saw, you might have seen the game on TV. I was at that game too. I was at the Seattle game, and then I was at the Penguins game. But the Seattle game, it was just a grinder. They just clogged up the middle and just made it for the Jets. And the Jets are not normally a dump and chase team. Scheifele and Connor and Velarde don't really like to dump and chase. They'll do it, but that's not their style. They like to carry it in and hold possession and grind it out and make little triangle plays down low. So it was just hard to get offense going, hard to get anything going against Seattle. And then they were down 1-0 and they ground, and then they got a couple of empty netters, right? So it ends up being worse than it is, but it's a 1-0 game becomes a 3-0 game. Then they win against Calgary. That was a pretty good game. They skated well and played well. Utah, I wasn't at the game, but Utah's a good hockey team. They're going to be right there. They're young and they can skate. and they can play well defensively and they can move the puck. That's a good hockey team. So they're not a doormat like Arizona was for years. Then the Jets go into Minnesota and back and
Overtime win.
yeah, end up winning 4-3 in overtime, right?
Yeah, after I think they were losing in that game, got a late goal, and then tied it and won it in overtime.
In overtime, yep. And then the Chicago game, well, they just played I thought they played really well against Chicago. They did not give them much. Chicago scored a few goals later in the third period, midway through the third period, but I believe that game was it 4-1 or 5-1 for a lot of the game until Chicago scored a little bit late to make it look 6-3. Like, is that a real assessment of the game? Maybe, maybe not. And then the Jets looked really good against the Penguins to come out and score 2 goals before 2 minutes are up. I was in line getting my dad a coffee, and I just want to quote somebody who said it's to no good deed goes unpunished. So I'm standing in line getting a coffee for my dad. And by the way, since I'm going to talk about this too, I got to talk with the True North, but they got rid of the Tim's Hortons on the main floor.
Yeah.
And they put in a 7-Eleven to serve Slurpees. That's fine. Now they have their own stores. Like they have Tim Hortons in their like hot dog, nacho, popcorn, like not a KFC, not a chain, but their own stores, like thing. People have to stand in line up to an hour before the game for a coffee. It's ridiculous. I missed the first 5 minutes of the game because they don't know how to do it. And then what's even worse is they get the runners. So these are the people, I guess, that are in the booths or in the Budweiser lounge, whatever. I just saw we're all in line getting coffees. And then these people come down with Jets gear or like the outfits from True North. They got trays and they have thing, and then they cut in line. They're cut right to the front and they give a chit, and it's like 5 coffees, larges with cream. Well, that takes 5 minutes. So now all of us are waiting, and they cut right to the front line. And then they scoot off but then there was 4 of them. So nobody got served coffee for 10 minutes while these 4 or 5 people with their trays coming from wherever that was, either the Budweiser lounge or one of the what is it called? The suites. They're getting the coffee run up to them. So we're all standing in line like yo-yos for an hour. True North, you got to do better. Do better. It's not good for people to wait an hour for a coffee. I mean, it's just.
Did you wind up waiting an hour?
Well, I did for my dad. We came to the line. The line was like loop and down the thing, and we were there at what was the Penguin game was in the afternoon?
Yeah,
it was at 2 o'clock. So we walked in. I stood at the line with my dad at 1. It was actually 1:25, and I said, "Dad, I'll just stay. You go sit down," because he's an older man. Fine. Yeah, I didn't even want a coffee. I just got it for him. I didn't get back to the seat until 1:15, 1:20. After the anthems, after everything was done, I saw the 2 goals there by Velarde and then by Lambert up on the screen above me. So I'm just saying, bad form. True North, fix it. Do better. So that's one. But anyway, the Penguins game 5-2. The Jets, they were all over Pittsburgh. At that point, I think the Penguins were number 1 in the league. They were 8-2-2. They've now lost a pair in a row. But the Jets made them look very average. Maybe it's just their off day, whatever. They're just off for a game. But Malkin and Crosby and Letang and Carlson, they were insignificant in the outcome of the game. They scored
What was your read on the Penguins? Because as you said, their record coming into Winnipeg was pretty good, and then they had that meltdown last night against Toronto.
Yeah.
Do you have a read on the Penguins? Like, are they legitimate? Are they as good as their record says, or?
I don't think so. I mean, we chatted about them last year that this team is not the way it's constructed. It just has too many old players. So I don't know what their schedules are like. Maybe they're at the beginning of the year because they're veterans. They had a lot of opportunities on the power play and they capitalized. I don't know the whole thing, but they just, other than those 4 guys, and if those 4 guys they're all 36 plus, if they're tired, if they're off and they're not driving the Penguins. Who's going to do it?
No,
So
that's fair.
it's I actually think it is a mirage. I think the Penguins are going to come back down to earth. They've already lost a couple in a row. I just don't see that team competing legitimately night in, night out, and being that good with.
Especially in that division. The Metro is very competitive.
Yep. And some of the teams in the Metro right now who are very good in the previous years stink right now, like Washington, even the Carolinas lost. They've lost two of their last three. The Rangers were the Rangers were at the playoff spot, but even Columbus hasn't played as good as they're capable of. Everybody's kind of sandwiched in there. If you look at it, 5 points right now separates first from eighth. So there's not a lot of swing there, eh? So, but I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see the Penguins. I did not. Or let me finish my sentence here. I did not call them a playoff team at the beginning of the year, and now having seen them for the last 3 weeks and even seeing them live on Sunday, I just don't think they have enough to be a playoff team long term this season. So, but otherwise, the Jets had a good week. 5-2. They're 9-3 overall.
What do we think of the Jets overall?
I think they're good. They're in a really good spot. If you look at the standings here, they're tied for second place overall in the league and tied for second place in their own division, just a point behind Colorado. But they played one less game than Colorado too. So,
is it just typical Central lining up here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Utah's in third place, so St. Louis is really just wow. They've just not.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about is maybe we can tie this into a broader discussion. But I was looking at the standings today, just because I hadn't really looked at them for a week.
Yeah.
I know it's early in the season, but first place in the Atlantic is Montreal at 18. Last place is 13. New Jersey, the Metropolitan, New Jersey is 18. Philly is 13. The Central, Colorado is 19. Last place is 10 in the Blues. The Kraken is 16. And the Flames are at 8. So there's a little bit of separation there. But in the middle, it's just flip-flop, flip-flop.
Like on the two Eastern divisions, there's only 5 points that separates first place from eighth place. So it's still a long ways to go, and that can change. One team loses 4 in a row, one team wins 4 in a row, and suddenly there's a flip-flop right there, right? So the earlier in the season,
I'm very shocked about is the St. Louis Blues and the Calgary Flames. I had both as playoff teams this year.
Yep.
The Flames have regressed. The Flames are this year where I thought they would be last year. And the Blues, to me, have just full-on regressed for a magnitude of reasons.
Surprising.
And then I would even honestly, I would put Minnesota in that boat, although not as bad at 4-6-3. But at some point, Rich, you're going to need to put a run together if you want to get into the playoffs.
Yes, you have to be close. Like you can't. Well, we always talk about that. Whoever's in a playoff position by American Thanksgiving, 90 or 80% of the time holds on to that position until the end of the season. So that's still American Thanksgiving is still, I think it's 3 weeks on Thursday. So it's still 3.5 weeks roughly away, or 3 weeks and 2 days, but whatever. There's still a lot of time.
Anaheim surprising you at 7-3-1?
Who?
Anaheim?
Eventually these teams, I mean, not everybody's going to be the Buffalo Sabres, right? Eventually teams that draft well and make good trades and get good players find a way to win. The exception to that is the Sabres. That's always the exception to the rule, like it was for the Oilers for years. But the Sabres are in last place. I can't figure it out. They have so much talent. They just keep losing year after year after year. They can't get into a playoff position. But
Yeah.
no, I agree with you. I mean, Seattle's a good team. They're right up there. But again, 1 point separates or 2 points separates first from sixth. So it's still early. But Anaheim's a young team. They got lots of good players. They have a really good coach. That's the team now being coached by Joel Quenneville, right?
Yep.
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 So he's a winner. He was a winner in Florida before all the controversy came down with him, and he was a winner in Chicago. So that's not surprising to me at all that Anaheim, and they got a nice mix of younger guys and veterans. They brought in, well, they got Kreider, they brought in, or they
Yep.
got Jacob Truba there like a year ago or whatever it was, or a year and a half ago. So they got sort of a nice mix of younger guys and older guys. Mason McTavish is a superstar in the making. They traded away his Zegras. Who did they get in return for Zegras?
They got. Is that a? Hang on a sec.
Was that the deal for Goche? No. Was that?
Yeah. No. The Cutter Roche was something else.
Yeah, Carter Goche was it. But anyway, they traded away Zegras and got whoever in return. So they've made some really good trades, some good signings, free agent signings, and it's working right now. So now it's early in the season. Maybe their schedule was a little bit soft to start the year. You don't know. They play. I'm looking here.
Oh, it was Ryan Palin in some draft pits.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but
Yeah, 'cause
anyway,
I remember being surprised by that.
yeah.
A
I
second
still think,
round pick,
yeah,
this past draft, and a fourth rounder next year.
yeah, yeah,
So surprising. It was a low cost.
yeah.
And it's interesting now because it seems like Zegras is not fitting in Philadelphia. Britt Totti kind of told him out there the other day. I did happen to see that.
Mhm.
But again, it's early
It's
to be
still early.
late, but
It's
early
still,
middle, I guess, because you're not far away from American Thanksgiving.
yeah.
What was your what has surprised you the last 2 weeks?
Well, okay. Well, I would say Anaheim's a big surprise. The Oilers kind of floundering back and forth, win one, lose
Yep.
one. It seems to be tied to playing at home or playing away. They have a awful road record and a very good home record. So, very strange. LA Kings are the exact opposite. They still have not won at home yet, but their road record is just outstanding. So that one's kind of strange too. But that one's different. Seattle surprises me a little bit. The Stars being just kind of middling around, that one surprises me a little bit, but I don't know. St. Louis surprises me. I didn't think they would fall. And again, Washington. I mean, that's almost the same team as last year, except Ovechkin is another year older. So, but and
So
then sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
let me finish. And then also maybe I'll throw it to you is I'm surprised that I'm not surprised. That's all I'll say is we always thought to New Jersey, like when are they going to start winning again? Like start winning. They got their goalie, they got the Hughes brothers, they've got Heischer, they got lots of offense there, they got good skating, they got good puck moving defensemen in Hamilton and some of the other guys. Like, when are they going to start winning? And last year was kind of a meh year. Well, now they're winning. So there you go. They're
Well,
in the,
last year they lost Josh Hughes and a bunch of other star guys to injury
they
halfway
did.
through.
They did. But
Uh,
still, we
I-
just thought they have to bounce back, right? And it's not surprising, right? Because
right.
they have the talent there and they've won previously, to your point, prior to having all the injuries that they had last year, right? In the second half of the season last year. But yeah, how about for you? What
Um,
surprises you so far?
Utah for me is a bit of a surprise at 8-4. I had them on the bubble. 'Cause I think I said on our previous show all the playoff teams for the West will make it again.
Yeah.
Utah's a bit of a surprise just because um, it's Utah and they have to take another step. What's really surprised me, honestly, though, Rhett, too,
Yeah.
is the Winnipeg Jets road record, and we can get into this because it's their longest road trip of the season since games started tonight. The Jets have a record of 4-0-0 on the road, um, 5-3 at home. Is there any credence to home versus away splits, or what do you make of the way the Jets have played overall on the road?
Yeah. It's good. Like yeah. I mean, they haven't played a lot of games. They only played 4 games on the road. Now will be a test because they play 6 in a row, right? They're gone
Right.
on a long road trip. What is that? Like 11 or 12 days, almost. Yeah, almost a couple of weeks here. They
Yeah, they start
left.
tonight and they're not home till the 18th.
Yeah, well, yeah. So they go Monday. Yeah, but they left on Monday the 3rd, and they don't come back until Sunday the 16th. So it's almost they're gone the 2 whole weeks, right? They're on
Yeah.
the road, but yeah,
King, Sharks, Ducks, Canucks, Kraken, and Flames.
yeah, and all 9 o'clock games except for tonight, which is 9:30. So never mind the time change. You've got to manage your own the time change. You want to live in the West Coast for the next 2 weeks if you're a Jets fan here in Winnipeg. You have to think that you're living in Vancouver. Maybe that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
the Jets have played
and
in the
then it'll
road. They've
be
been fortunate to get the wins. Some of the wins were fluky. Some of them were well earned. So I don't know. Sorry, go
it'll
ahead.
be interesting because they're home for 3, and then they go out to the East Coast for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
So
or 6 and 7.
yeah,
Rolled that
so
after that. Yeah, into
it's
the
a
first
weird
2 games.
schedule thanks to
Yeah,
the Olympics, but it just made sense that it's like a 6-game road trip out west,
yeah,
where last year they had that trip, Brett, where it was like 3 in the west, home, and then 3 in the east. Like it was just really weird.
yeah,
Um, there seems to be some more like segmentation. Like I'm looking in December. There's a Detroit, Toronto, Ottawa road trip. Um, Then there's a single in Minnesota, a single in Chicago. Then there's New Jersey, Tampa, Florida, Dallas. Like it seems much more segmented this year.
yeah.
I think the Jets got a really good schedule in that regard. Um, but the one thing I did want to ask about the Jets is how have you seen the maturation of that first line between Connor Shifley and Velarde? Like we thought last year was peak for them. It seems like they've taken so far their game to another level this year.
Yeah. Yeah, they like you see it on the television a little bit, but it's hard because the camera can't follow like everything. It follows the puck, and so you get a lot of what's going on, but you can't see everybody in the movement of players. But when you see a game live and you see those 3 guys play together, especially, I mean, Velarde's fit right in there really well. A lot of guys wouldn't be able to play with Shifley and Connor, but he's fit in really well. But the way that Connor and Shifley, the way they see each other, remember how it was with Shifley and Wheeler? How it was like, oh, Shifley said when he was younger, playing with Blake Wheeler, he's the very best player I've ever played with. I've learned so much. We read off each other. Like they had such a symbiosis, whatever you want to call, between Wheeler and Shifley. It was amazing. But more often than not, because Wheeler, and here's why I like Connor and Shifley even better. Wheeler and Shifley, for the most part, because even though Shifley's a centerman, Shifley can shoot. Shifley's a scorer. Wheeler was a scorer, but he was more of a setup guy. He doesn't really have
Yeah.
he's got a good shot, but not a great shot. He was more of a wrist shot guy and snapshots. He didn't have a pounding slap shot or that he could just wind up in the slot on a one-timer and put it under the bar like that, like Shifley and Connor can. So more often than not, Wheeler would end up with 18 goals and 70 assists. And out of the 70 assists, 20, 25 of them were to Shifley for Shifley's 40 goals or 30 goals, right? So, and Shifley was scoring, and he didn't set up Wheeler as many times as Wheeler set up him. I think the exact opposite is the case for Shifley and Connor. They're both shooters, They can both score, and they're both very good at passing. And they read off each other. It's like they know where they're supposed to be. Sometimes I don't even know how Connor, he'll throw a puck into an area. He's not even looking there. And he puts it into a place, and Scheifele's right there. It's sort of like with the way Wayne Gretzky was a little bit with Yari Curry. That was a little bit like that in the 80s, if folks know or remember what I'm talking about. Just knowing where a guy's going to be without even having to see him there. You just know he's going into that spot or that corner or that whatever. And Scheifele and Connor are like that. And so Vilardi he's another chunk that gets added into that. And I don't know where they're at overall, but it would not surprise me that Scheifele, Connor, and Vilardi are in the top 3 lines in the league, because I can't imagine who's scoring more, 3 guys together than.
Is that a concern? A lot of secondary scoring?
Well, I didn't say there's a lot. I just said Scheifele, Connor, and Vilardi are scoring a lot. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's been enough secondary scoring. That was a beautiful goal where Taves set up Nemestikov there. Like, did the hard and then pulled up and then slipped it through the skates and just right onto the stick. And wow, like that. I don't know. I think secondary scoring is going to come. I just think it's hard because the lineup is somewhat chunky because guys were out with injury. Now guys are coming back in and other guys are going, and some guys are playing well and some guys aren't. Maybe to ask you, is Nyquist still out?
Yes.
Is that long-term as well?
No, day-to-day.
Okay. So then it's probably the exact same lines as on Sunday, except they pulled Barron out and put Lowry in, because I'm hearing comments that Lowry is centering Niederreiter and Pearson, and that's the line that was centered by Barron, which means Ford is probably centering Lambert and Kupke on the 4th line.
The lines are as follows today: Connor, Scheifele, Vilardi, Nemesnikov, Taves, Iafallo, Niederreiter, Lowry, Pearson, Kopke, Ford, Lambert.
Yeah, okay, there you go. And you know what's good
Kopke,
too?
Extra, Morrissey, DeMello, Stanley, Pionk, Miller, Schenn.
Okay, so Miller, Schenn.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's something we haven't seen.
No Fleury. But he's not
Fleury
injured.
Is the extra today.
But he's not injured. Just maybe they want to rotate in. Miller actually played really well on Sunday. I don't know if you could tell that or no, but live, I mean, he was out there with Fleury, but he played really well. And maybe they just want to rotate in Schenn, and Miller had been sitting for a while, so now you will play him on his off wing. But yeah, no, that's good. I like it. But it's going to be interesting to see how they use Lowry, because he's on the 3rd line. I have a feeling what's going to happen is in order to load level him, I don't think they're necessarily going to send out another center with Niederreiter and Pearson on every 3rd shift or every 4th shift. You know what I think is going to happen? If I was Scott Arniel, that's what I would do. I would just, especially because it's on the road, it's a late game, I would try and rotate 4 lines as much as possible, or even put Ford, Lambert, and Kopke out there before Lowry, Niederreiter, and Pearson, just to give Lowry a little bit of time, so he's not completely gassed. And and also because you might need Lowry to kill penalties. I don't know. I know Morgan Barron killed penalties. I don't know what they're going to do with Lowry. Are they going to play him on the, are they going to play him on the penalty kill right out of the gate? It's a good question. I don't know, but no, it'll be interesting. I'm actually looking forward to the game tonight, even though I will not be able to watch it. I'll have to record it and watch it later. So
yeah, the good old joys of PBR, huh?
Yeah.
So. What do you think of the way? Like, what are you expecting tonight? I guess would be a better question for Adam Lowry, or for Adam Lowry in the lineup tonight.
Well, I think LA, as we've talked about, LA is kind of like Seattle was at the end of that road trip, where they came in here and just plugged up the middle, and it was hard for the Jets to move the puck through the zone, through the neutral zone, and they had to go get pucks and retrieve them, and it's not necessarily their style that they want to play. But anyway, you have to adapt, right? If a team plays you that way, LA is the same way. They play a defense first style, and they haven't been good at home. They're 0-3-2 at home. And I think what's happened with LA, that's the one thing about LA, is if they get scored on against, right? So you get a power play, boom, or you just get a, sort of like what happened with the Jets and the Penguins on Sunday. If they get down by a couple of goals, then they have to get out of their how they like to play, and they have to play sort of a recovery mode, right? They've got to take chances, they got to skate, hope they get a power play, and they have to play a little bit outside of how they like to play. If they go up by a goal or two, like if the first period ends 2-0 LA, it's going to be very hard for Winnipeg to come back, in my opinion. If it ends up 0-0 or 1-1, much better. If the Jets are 1-0, that's okay too. But if the Jets go down, because LA just loves to play that, slow it down, grind it out, plug it up style of play, and let's try to turn over pucks and make you make a mistake as you come through the neutral zone. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, which is okay maybe for Lowry coming back, because I don't think it's going to be a fast game per se. I think there'll be lots of neutral zone grinding and fighting for pucks along the boards, and then if you get it in the zone, you get lots of a defensive coverage and lots of grinding. Then the puck gets popped out, and then it goes the other way and gets dumped in. And yeah, I just think it's going to be one of those types of games. So, how about you?
I think you can still see me, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. Cause I have my my research tab open.
Oh.
No, it's for me. I think Adam Lowry gonna add a physical element to the third line. I think he's gonna make the Jets harder to play against, even though they've already kind of been hard to play against. I'm curious to see Jonathan Toews and Adam Lowry on the ice together. Um, now that the Chapman is back in the lineup.
Yeah.
So how does that dynamic work, right? A former captain versus with the current captain. I'm not saying it's going to be an issue. I think it's going to be a really cool dynamic to see. Because the Jets have a lot of leadership, right? But to add more of it, right? And to add more sandpaper. And, it seems like we're only days away from adding even more sandpaper on the back end. And then somebody conceivably to the top six in Cole Perfetti. So, the fact that the Jets are 9-4 and they've had a lot of injuries, I think bodes well to the notion of if they stick to their system is going to help them win a lot of games, regardless who's in the lineup. And I think Adam Lowry is really going to elevate that Jets bottom part of the lineup, sort of in the goal prevention, opportunity prevention chance area for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're overthinking it though. Like, guys just want to win. Like, Jonathan Toews was a captain at Chicago for 15 years or whatever it was, or 12 years or 13 years, whatever. He won 3 Stanley Cups there. He's a winner. He doesn't need to prove anything. He comes into a new team. He just wants to play again. He's been off hockey for 2 years or 3 years, whatever it's been, had lots of issues with COVID and recovery. He's gone through the grinder, right? He doesn't need to be captain. He is who he is. He'll be a leader still. They'll ask him for his opinion and he'll share and he'll be positive, whatever. But Adam Lowry does not need to feel threatened by Jonathan Toews being in the clubhouse. And I think to think that, there's going to be strife or it's going to be awkward, 2 captains, a former captain, an existing or a captain on a previous team now joining a team that has a captain already. Well, that happens a lot of times when guys get traded, right? Guys are assistant captains or captains for one team and they get traded, or they go to free agency and then they move to another team. So that was the case with Steven Stamkos. I think he was captain, right? Wasn't he captain with the Lightning?
Yeah. And then I believe name escapes me, but Marchessault was not in the Vegas leadership group either. But
Yeah, but he was still a huge part of their unofficial leadership group. So all I'm saying is I understand, you're thinking this through and think, oh, what could be the impact of this or that? I just think you're overthinking it. I just don't see any issue at all. I don't think Adam Lowry it will even
No,
fit.
and I'm not saying there's going to be an issue. I think it's just the element of more leadership. I think it's just going to benefit the team as a whole.
I would agree with that. That 100%. You can't
That-
lose by having him in your dressing room.
So Rob asked the question here: Does Lambert automatically go back to the Moose when Perfetti returns? Who comes out of the defensive close when Lambert returns?
No. Good question. I think they like Lambert over Chibrikov right now. So
Yeah, to me, Chibrikov has really dropped off since his preseason. Who comes out on the defensive end?
Heinola is already with the Moose, right? He's not a Black Ace,
Yeah,
is he?
yeah, Hanel is with the Moose.
Okay, so the Black Aces right now, either Fleury or Miller or Shen, right? Whoever of those
Yeah,
three.
or
Right?
do you send down another forward like Chibrikov and carry the extra defenseman?
You might do that, maybe because you don't have to lose the other two guys. Maybe you send down Chibrikov and Lambert because you can without having to expose them on the waiver wire.
And then you would have just me spitballing. Black Aces would be one of Miller, Shen, Fleury.
Right, but remember, you don't need, like, they don't have three guys as Black Aces right now. You're allowed to carry three Black Aces, right?
Right.
But they don't have three Black Aces because there's guys on injured reserve like Barron and whatever. I think right now the only Black Aces are Chibrikov. Like tonight, healthy scratches would be Chibrikov and
And Fleury.
Fleury. So if Perfetti comes back, you can just move Lambert out. You can move Ford out. However you want to do it. Probably Lambert because you don't want to lose the guy who's centering your fourth line. But so, and then if another guy comes back when Nyquist comes back, excuse me, then you have to have a conversation and make a decision, right? So, but it's the funny thing about the season, right? I mean, we're talking about it. It's, you think, oh, the season's going to go like this, and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's injuries. Injuries always happen, and then it ends up never being the way you envision or they envision for 82 games. It's just not possible because you got injuries. And so guys come in and out of the lineup, think, oh, how's this going to happen? Well, now we're getting to see Lambert and Ford play. We're getting to see more of
right, like you thought Morgan Barron was going to come in and one of Ford and Lambert was going to come out. Now Barron gets hurt, so those two stay in the lineup.
Yeah. And you wonder, is Iafallo going to play on the fourth line or no, he's in the second line, right? And with Nemestikov in the second line, right? So, and these guys, so when the Perfetti comes back and Lowry comes back now, and then when Morgan Barron comes back and Nyquist comes back, how is that going to affect Iafallo? And like, it's just, but maybe Iafallo gets injured, and then it's a moot point, right? You know what I'm saying? It's you're just juggling balls in the air and trying to manage the thing and just
don't pour out trouble before trouble arrives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And just hoping that your lineup has some chemistry and is able to score some goals. And so far, it's worked out really good. I've really enjoyed watching Taves playing with the Nemestikov. They're two centermen, and Nemestikov is so smart. He's so good defensively, and so is Taves. Like they just like little things. That goal that Nemestikov scored, if you see what that is there, he's got white tape on his stick. Like you watch the replay of it, go back to this thing. It's so interesting. He is such a smart player. No, he's not an 80 or 100 point guy. That's fine. But he could play center. He could play wing. He could play on the second line. He could play on the fourth line. He could kill penalties, whatever you want. He goes hard on the left side with Taves. Taves goes hard. Then he pulls up, curls to the middle, and then he drives a pass or feathers a pass through under one guy's stick and through another guy's skates. And where is Nemestikov? Nemestikov's stick is not in the air. because he's smart. He's got it down on the ice, white tape, and he's just putting it along the ice and skating to the net and giving a target for Taves to fire the puck at. So if you look, Taves is not looking at Nemestikov. He's looking. You could see his head, his eyes, because I was at the game. I was looking. Where's he? Because it happened so quick. Where's he looking? He's looking down. He was looking through the legs and sticks. Where's that white tape? I want to find that. Oh, it's going to come out. It's going to shoot through. I'm going to get an opportunity to fire it. If I fire it really hard, I'll be able to push it right through that guy's legs. Sure enough, as Nemestikov is skating through, the puck comes. By the time he gets there, just a tap. He didn't even lift the stick, doesn't have to put it down. It's on the ice for a target for Taves to fire it at into the back of the net. Beautiful. Now, you could say, oh, it's a beautiful goal. It is. But I'm saying there's so many fundamentals there. Pulling up, looking, a guy putting his stick on the ice with tape there for the guy to aim at, right? Because you're aiming for his stick and you want to know, oh, I got to find a slot that I can shoot it through. So I'm not firing it at his stick. I'm shooting it 5 feet in front of his stick, because by the time the puck gets through, that's when he's going to be there, right? So you're firing it, aiming it through the legs of a guy that is watching him, even though he's not there yet. It's amazing. All the fundamentals of that. And so all that to say, Taves and Nemestikov, they're smart hockey players. Are they going to score 5 points a game? No, because there's guys defending and it's hard to score.
But you only need 1 or 2.
Yep.
And then you get 2 or 3 other lines chipping in, and you get 4 goals a game, and you win a lot more hockey games than you lose.
Yeah.
When Connor Hellebuyck is your goalie.
Yeah. So that's what I like. But no, to answer the second question here, what's going to happen when Samberg returns? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? And what would you like to have happen? And are those the same things?
I think only Logan Stanley's going to drop down a pair. I think Colin Miller comes out of the lineup as good as he's played.
Okay.
And then you have Stanley on the third pair, and then Samberg slides in beside
Pionk.
Okay.
And so then you have Stanley sliding down and playing with either Fleury, Schenn, or Miller, whoever happens to be in the mix, if there's no other injuries, which means if Fleury comes in, he's going to have to play with somebody or he's going to play on his weak side because he's left-handed.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to play their offside of those 3.
And then Schenn is going to play with another slower player or Stanley's got to play. See, I think I know what's going to happen. I think you're right. That's what's going to happen. But I'll put this out there. Here's what I'd like to see happen.
Okay.
And see, because I think this makes sense on so many levels for so many reasons. You leave Morrissey and DeMello the way they are. The Pionk Stanley experiment has been very good, and you leave it as is. And you put Samberg in a pairing with Schenn or with Miller. And
on the second pairing, or what are you thinking?
Well, or you don't even call it second pairing. You call them, now you don't have sort of your tier 1, tier 2, and then your top 2 pairings, and then your third pairing you throw out when you absolutely have to, because you just hope they don't get scored on because they're going out against the third or fourth line of the other team. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great to have 3 pairings that you would have as much confidence in as any of the others at any time, and play with either Scheifele's line or Taves' line or whatever? So I'm just saying, and here's why I say this. I know why you want to put Samberg through Pionk. They have lots of good history. They played together last year. We're good together. My problem is that Stanley, as good as he's been with Pionk, the reason that he's good is because he's playing with a really good puck-moving guy. Pionk is smart. He's not big, but he skates. He moves the puck well. He's an offensive guy. He reads the play well. He's a good partner. He makes everybody around him really good. He makes Samberg look good. He makes Logan Stanley look good. If you move Logan Stanley down to play with Schenn, I just think you have now 2 slower of foot guys. And I just don't think Schenn complements Logan Stanley the same way that Pionk complements those. Whereas Samberg, who's a good skater and good defensively, could complement and make Schenn more uplifted or be better. So the two of them together would be better than putting Stanley, because in my mind, Stanley and Schenn are the weaker two of the four, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So you want to split them up. You want to keep them apart. But now you put Samberg with Schenn. You say, well, I don't want Samberg playing on the third pairing. He's such a good. Well, don't. Put them out there in the second pair. Like, make them 1A, 1B, and 1C if you want. I don't know. They're all going to get their time killing penalties and on the power play, right? In terms of Keon and Josh Morrissey. But I don't know. I just, for me personally, that's what I would do. I would try not to put Logan Stanley with Luke Schenn if at all possible. So that's
here's an unrelated question, but I've been wanting to ask for a couple weeks, and it's been a month into the season, and now might be the appropriate time to ask.
Okay.
Who is the most exciting team in hockey right now?
The most exciting? Just like the most fun to watch? Or what?
Yeah, like if the Jets are not playing on a night, but Team A is on TV because they're very exciting to watch, which team are you watching?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. Or which one am I interested in watching?
Right.
Well, I'm always interested. Sorry.
Based on style of play, based on whatever.
Well, interested because I want to see how they're playing and see if it's just. I would be interested in watching Anaheim because of all their young players. I always like watching Colorado. I know I shouldn't admit that because they're in the Jets division, but I like watching New Jersey play now that they have the Hughes brothers back. I want to see Carolina play. I haven't seen a game yet with Ehlers in a Hurricanes jersey. And so I'd like to see that. And you know what? I hate to say it too, but because I don't like Montreal, but I want to see Montreal play. And Utah too. Utah is a good team. Utah is up and coming. Like all these teams, Jets fans, get used to this idea. In the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, the Jets are going to be going like this, and teams like Chicago, Utah, Seattle, Montreal, they're all going this way. Anaheim.
We might even be seeing that regression with the Toronto Maple Leafs with no Mitch Marner.
Yep. So,
like, to me, I saw 2 periods of the Leaf game yesterday. I did not see the comeback, but I saw the first 2 periods, and I thought the Leafs looked like garbage. They looked like a completely different team without Mitch Marner.
Yeah, and I don't think was
Nylander was back in,
but not Riley, right? Riley was out.
Yeah, Tanev, you mean? No, they lost Chris Tanev because of injury.
Oh, Tanev was out. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, they lost Tanev on Saturday. They have to take him off on a stretcher, and then they put him on IR right after the game. I don't know. It's just very interesting that way, right?
Yes, and the Jets are now. I don't know if you heard that it was on one of the telecasts, but they said the Jets now with the lineup that they have in place, and all it takes is a few trades. You trade for a Schenn, you lose an Ehlers, and then you sign a Jonathan Toews, which
one of the older teams in the league.
You signed Nyquist and Toews, and you kept Schenn around. Suddenly, the Jets are the second oldest team in the league. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I knew they were older, but not that much.
They are the second oldest team. An average age, they're the second oldest team. I don't know who's the oldest. I don't know if it's Pittsburgh, might not even be because they've got lots of younger guys, which bring their average down. I think I'd have to look at the list of teams. They said there's the youngest or there's the oldest team, and the Jets are the second oldest. And I thought, wow, man, was it Florida? No, I can't.
Yeah, it's interesting that way for sure. I agree. Like, I think at some point in the next 2 to 3 years, like the Jets' window of Stanley Cup contention is only going to get smaller.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, it's this year and next year, and then you'll see if Scheifele and Hellebuyck and Connor they're gonna need some help because I don't know if you can have Jonathan Toews and Gus Nyquist on this team long term.
Right. No, I agree. Guys like Colby Barlow and Lambert and Chibrikov
But here's
and
the thing, like
we have to
I
step up.
watched the Moose game yesterday,
Yeah,
and yeah, they lost 3-0, but there was nobody that jumped off the page to me. That says, okay, if the Jets have an injury, this guy comes up.
really.
That's problematic for me.
That is problematic. Yeah.
Like I can honestly say with the Moose, okay, if there's an injury, who comes up? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question right now.
Or you're saying after all the guys, like after Ford is now up and whatever, and Lambert is here and
Right,
Chibrikov is here.
right. And
After
then
those,
like what's that next wave look like? Like I'm not seeing anybody make a very big push to be that next generation of Winnipeg Jets when
yeah,
this window starts to shut. So unless you're gonna keep working it around the edges and bringing a Taze and a Nyquist and those types
yeah,
to try to just push this window open, but the prospect pool, I don't know how in a good position it is. But anyway, I know that's early and neither here nor there, but you have to kind of start thinking about, the post Morrissey, Shifley, Connor era because it's coming sooner rather than later. And don't let those 8-year contracts fool you. There will probably be 2 or 3 years at the end of the deal where, you did a Blake Wheeler scenario where he's on the team, but he's not really contributing because of age or production drops off. Like the time is now for the Jets to win a Stanley Cup, like this year and next year.
yeah,
And then you better hope that some prospects are gonna come along to help and push this window open again.
yeah. Yep, you're right.
Because otherwise, I don't know if this market could stomach a retool based on the need to get people into the stands based on where the salary cap is going.
Yeah, it's nuts, what they're saying the salary cap is going to be like I heard it's going up like $8 million 1 year, then another 10 million. Like it's supposed to go up substantially over the next few years. Like
Yeah. So small market like Winnipeg, that's not good.
uh, no.
Anyway, what are you expecting from the Winnipeg Jets this week? I know they have a couple of games in LA tonight, in San Jose on Friday, and then in
Yeah.
Anaheim on Sunday.
And then Anaheim on Sunday, right? So 3 games all in California, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, and then we'll talk again on Monday the 10th.
On Tuesday.
Oh, right, Tuesday the 11th, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. But we'll still talk before they play their game because that game is in the evening. Yeah, you know what? Anaheim, San Jose. How is San Jose doing? I've thought about them. I haven't heard them what they're doing. Oh, they're near the yeah, they're kind of middling. They're a little bit below 500. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Jets with this, if they go 1-1-1, I would be thrilled because I think they're gonna be in for it against LA, and I think they're going to be in for it against Anaheim, but for different reasons. So if they get a
I
win,
mean, honestly, they're going to be in for it when it comes to the Sharks because that's a team that's all offense and no defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, have you seen the Sharks play? They play run and gun up and down the ice, reckless disregard for defense. They're okay winning 6-5, 6-4, 7-5.
Well, as long as you can score enough goals, yeah.
It's
not a great strategy when you go. Excuse me. It's not a great. It's not a great strategy when you go against a team like the Jets who can score but also play very well defensively and have a very good goalie. So it's you can play run and gun with other run and gun teams, right? Like if they go up against New Jersey or whoever or Anaheim, fine, run and gun and score your goals. But you play against another really good defensive team like Seattle or Winnipeg or somebody like that, a little bit more challenge. Here I got. There's one observer. He says the Jets are going 3-0. Well, good luck with that. Why don't you put your money down on a ticket? And I hope so. I'd be thrilled if they went 3-0 through California. That'd be amazing. I just think they're gonna have trouble with either LA or Anaheim. They'll probably win in San Jose and lose one of the two in regulation and one in overtime. So how about you? What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting. The 1-1-1, the 2-1. I could also see.
Okay.
I did also see 1-1-2. I did also see 1-0-2.
Okay. But you're not envisioning 3-0.
I can't because of what their history is in LA.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They've
Like
had
you
some
can make
really
an
good games.
argument they should beat San Jose if they
Yes.
keep them defensively within shot.
Yep.
And to be honest, I don't know what Anaheim is. It's LA, but I don't know about.
Yep. And that's the thing. They've had some really good games in sorry, some powers here. They've had some really good games in LA, played really well, and other times they've just laid an egg playing in LA. Like that one, it's kind of this you don't know what you're going to get. So, but well, I don't know. This has been good. We can't go this long without having a show again because
no, we won't. It'll be next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. So we'll have 3 games to talk about, and then from that, 3 more games to look forward to because we'll be exactly halfway through the road trip because the second half of the road trip will be after our show next week.
Yep. And just for people's awareness, we are on Tuesdays in the month of November just because of our game time production schedule.
Correct.
Being very, very, very busy.
Tuesdays at 5:00 Central.
Yep. So our coverage will start with the Jets U13 AA Showdown Thursday afternoon on Game Time TV. You can tune in all weekend for that and join us then. For Red Petty, this is Michael Gell saying have a great week. We will see you next Tuesday. And we will talk to you then. Good night from Winnipeg.